Today's episode of The Read Pile is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
I'm Elle, and this is Swiss.
And Swiss looks about as excited to be here as I am. I am the sus man, Rick Sussman. Yeah, well, we're both held captive here. And you are watching The Read Pile.
It's the week of October 7th, and here's some comic book news you can use. What? He likes to be held.
Are you sure?
He's not squirming.
Maybe it's because he's
purring.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe he's scared.
Alright, see, I am. So, big news this week, all over the place, because it's New York Comic Con, but we will only focus on one little thing. Somebody's ready to go. Alright, there it is. Proven. In a recent interview, Jared Leto has done a number of promoting for the Suicide Squad movie, and good on him. He said such things as, people are going to think I'm a crazy person for the character that I portrayed, which I actually talked about on the Those Two Jerks podcast as kind of neat. Here's the thing. I bet you want to know where those crazy tattoos came from, and why the Joker has that grill, and why he looks and acts the way he does. Well, evidently, Jared Leto went to a certain writer, creator, and asked for some assistance. Elle, would you be so kind as to tell those at home who might not know who said creator is? Grant Douchebag Morrison. That's actually his middle name.
It really is. He doesn't like to admit it.
It's on his wiki. So, Jared Leto went to Grant Morrison, who, if you look at this on paper, right, this actually is kind of cool. Here's an actor who goes to a well-known writer. Why is there a X-Acto knife there? Alright, Jared Leto goes to a well-known creator in the community, I'm concerned, and asks for assistance becoming a role. That in and of itself is really cool. Like, imagine, I don't know, say if you went to Scott Snyder instead of Grant Morrison.
That would have been preferred.
On paper, this is kind of neat, right?
Okay, so he obviously doesn't read comics. He wouldn't have known that was a really poor choice. Like, why?
Well,
you would have known not to do it.
Wait. To people like us, that's a poor choice.
Yes, okay, so he's like, okay, big name. And this guy, he likes to throw his name around, you know, so, alright, I'll go to this guy. But he didn't realize he was getting some bad pointers. He's like, he should have started the conversation with, first, sir, before I take tips from you, could you tell me, have you destroyed the DC universe in any way?
Was your writing so convoluted?
Will your tips help me personally destroy the movies of DC Universe?
Was your concept so weird that they just restarted the universe in order to get away from all of them? Not that anyone will ever admit that was the reason.
They had to wipe things clean.
I'm going to reiterate this, because you are the Angry NerdGirl, you rage about things. I am sort of our moderator, I guess. It's kind of cool that an actor in these DC movies would care so much about his role that he would go to one of... And let's not forget, Morrison did write Batman for years. Whether or not you or I liked his run, that's sort of regardless.
Okay, yes, I understand. Everyone has their preference and types of characters and how they're portrayed. I get that. But I'm telling you my opinion.
Right.
And part of me is a little happy because now I understand why I hate this Joker so much. It makes so much more sense. So I don't feel crazy anymore. I'm not like...
Well, before even seeing one scene...
Now I'm thinking, okay, so I'm not being a complete, like, outcast here. I simply knew something without knowing it.
I can't believe
And
this.
now it's out there.
I'm leaving.
Time for comic book reviews. So this week for me are 3 comics that are number ones. Obviously they are new to me. So I'm going to start with Saints. I'll be honest, I really don't know what I don't know what I read. It's one of those books where they're really trying to get into like this big picture of a story, and they're not really saying enough in the first issue to make me interested whatsoever. Yeah, I get it. You know, there's this one guy that he apparently has some type of powers. He's having a dream, an ongoing dream, and these other people are in it. They're starting to come together, and apparently they are saints of a sort, and it's going to build to some story, I'm assuming. But it is a story I don't care about. Sorry. Moving on. Dead Vengeance. So this one, a little more interesting. So I didn't really read a lot about what the book was about before putting it on my read pile. So I was like, okay, I still want to check it out. Kind of skimmed a little bit about what it was, but I was like, hey, you know what? Issue 1, let's try it. Pretty much, this guy probably killed, suicide, whatever. We don't know yet, but he had died at some point, and he has been gone for like a decade. And now he's back, and he's trying to figure out what happened. Oh my goodness. You know, the way he was stored, it was already weird enough. The things that he's already finding out in the first issue is just amazing. He's, you know, as he's talking to this person that he just kind of remembers the name of, he's like, oh yeah, I remember this guy's name. He's my best friend. I can't remember my name, but for some reason I can remember him, and I can remember that he's my best friend. Contacts him, and together they're trying to trying to get his memory back, and he's starting to remember things, and it's a nice little ride. It's not the best of stories and storytelling, but sorry, it's true. It's not that, I don't know. I think I'm trying to pick it apart too much just because it's not something that appeals to me entirely. It's probably better to other people, but I am willing to try issue 2. There are only 4 issues in the story, so I might as well try it out. But my pick of the week, Paper Girls. Okay, this is a cute little story. So I know I did a review on a book where I was trying to make fun of these kids that didn't know each other. Now they get together and they're best friends and they're going to figure out the circus about something, blah, 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 from out of this world, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what happens in this book, but I actually like it. So yes, it's these 4 girls, and they're called Paper Girls because guess what? They have a paper route. And they're about to just...
Futon number 2 also debuted this week.
I like this one, okay? I do. And I thought it was cute. You know, yes, they're coming together, and it's not really about the relationship of the girls. That's just how they created this team. You know, these random girls are getting together. I'm sure there's going to be more about that. I mean, why do you just have 4 random girls meet together? There's going to be probably more to that. But the idea that, you know, they're kind of going back in time, the paper route, and these girls, you know, they feel like they have pushed against the odds, and they're girls on a paper route. Like, this is a big deal to them. They're like, oh, it used to be all boys, but now the girls are doing it. And they're up early and they start running into some weird events. And they find this weird device in a house. Stuff starts going down south quick. And it's pretty fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, you need to. I think it's going to be a really good ongoing series. In the meantime, we'll see what Rick has to say.
Well, thank you, Elle, for reviews about books that apparently only you like when you read them, but if they're similar to books that you didn't even mention it was Brian Vaughan, the guy who writes Saga, that you... Well, you know what? I read Saga, it's fine. Now we both read a Brian Vaughan book. I guess that's something. Let's move on. I have my read pile, and it begins with Grumpy Cat and Pokey #1. I've been waiting so long for this book to debut. I was so excited. I read it back and forth. It was adorable. It was everything I wanted. It was a silly, crazy, ridiculous book about Grumpy Cat, and every time I read a panel featuring her talking, I just heard Aubrey Plaza in my head, and that was fine. Like, look, I'm not expecting Shakespearean tomes about Grumpy Cat the comic book. I'm expecting entertainment, and I'm expecting to be happy that I plunked down $3.99. And I sure as hell am both of those things. If you're looking for a fun, silly book about an internet meme, I can't think of anything better than the Grumpy Cat and Pokey book. Definitely check it out. Moving on. Journey... What is it? Let me make sure I got this right. Journey to Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars Shattered Empire, Issue 2. That's a mouthful. So I still really, really dig this book. It wasn't as interesting, if I'm honest, as the first issue, but it's Issue 2. It's not going to be like rainbows and unicorn farts every single time. They've got to tell a story, and we're moving along the dialogue getting to The Force Awakens. And it is interesting to note that there is a huge, huge spoiler about who one of the characters is, but apparently, according to the internet, they already knew that. I didn't know that. I'm just reading this for the first time, and I thought, well, I guess it's not a spoiler. It's a huge info. It's not a spoiler, I suppose. It's just this is how the info is being released. I really liked this issue. It was much more cerebral than the first issue. If the first issue was a lot of crazy explosions and war stuff and all this insane stuff happening, there's still plenty of great action in this issue. It's just a lot more learning about, like, Green One and who she is in relation to people, what happened to her husband, who her kid is, wink, wink. And it's kind of really neat because at the end of the issue, she meets up with a certain princess, and now we have 3 female members of the Star Wars universe because I forget who the other lady was that's there, but according to Family Guy lore, the only other girl in the Star Wars universe cannot possibly be friends with Leia, but I disagree. It has happened, and I was excited by that. I'm sad I didn't get a token, I don't like her, from off camera. God, I really don't know which one I want to be my pick of the week. They're both so good. They both are really good. Okay, alright. Both of these books have been my pick of the week many, many times. This one just slightly better-ish. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about Copperhead. Copperhead is back. Another issue, issue 10. The 10th ultimate conclusion issue of what happened to our deputy, to Boo, how he's going to get away, how did he get away, all of these crazy things are happening. This is another fabulous issue. If you're not reading Copperhead, it is the dust punk western that I want it to be, set in the future. Our sheriff, she is such a badass, and I love this book, but the reason why it's not my pick of the week, and this isn't fair to the book, I realize it, I'm letting my opinions, my feelings trump my analytical mind, but you know what, it's a show about me picking stuff. Unfortunately, issue 11 is going to be delayed a bit. The artist, who I believe, or the writer, was it? Is it, who again? Hang on, I'm sorry. I should have researched this, I'm terrible. Jay Faber, Faber, I can't pronounce names to save my life, is letting us know that issue 11 is going to be delayed for a bit. And while that sucks, I understand. They want to make sure the art is perfect, they want to make sure Scotty gets it right. I'm just disappointed. That makes me sad at the end of an issue to go, oh, this was so good. Now I'm going to have to wait a while to find the next issue. And that made me a little less excited about it. Because, you know, it's been consistent. It's been every month, on the nose. It's my pick of the week this week. And once again, it is Midnighter. Midnighter number 5, to be precise. The conclusion of the Grayson tie-in book. Oh, this was such a good issue. I actually was talking to somebody about this issue earlier today at my local comic shop, and I said, oh, it was really cool. Like, Grayson has been in Midnighter, and Midnighter has been in Grayson, and then I went, oh, wait, that's really bad wording. But both of these issues, I believe another reviewer on this show has been reviewing the Grayson issues where Midnighter has shown up, and she seems to be okay with all that.
It's all sexy.
There you go. This has been a fabulous series. I compare Midnighter, to a video game comic book in that you actually feel like you're in the story. Like, you feel like it's a first-person shooter almost. I mean, there's even a reference to going up against the boss level in this game. And I just love Steve Orlando's writing. It's so witty and direct and easy to flow. It might even, it's like eating a hamburger. No matter what, it's really hard to screw up a hamburger. It's so tasty and delicious, and usually when you're done, you want to eat another one. And thankfully, I know I will have another one very soon, because Midnighter continues to be on time, and that is why it's my pick of the week. Also because it's frickin' awesome. For you, our loyal followers of The Read Pile, we have an awesome offer from Audible.com. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their awesome service. You can download some really great books like The Hobbit, the unabridged version from Tolkien. You can download Divergent, Lean In, lots of great stuff to check out. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia for your free audiobook.
That's this week for the Read Pile.
Well, kind of a quiet week this week, honestly.
Yes.
But I have some news.
Yes.
Show news. Good stuff. We have acquired a new Harley Quinn figure.
Ooh.
It's been sitting up here the whole time. It's been a spoiler. Be on the lookout for very soon. There will be an unboxing. Not that you really need to unbox something that you can actually see. Anyway, we're going to do an unboxing on this guy. Gal. And I'm pretty excited about that.
Yay! There's that. It's camera shy.
This camera guy. Alright, move along. Touch you where your balls were. Move along.